Troubles grow for Conservative Party chairperson Nadhim Zahawi, who is accused of tax avoidance. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has asked for an independent probe amid mounting pressure from the opposition. Sunak said that there were questions that need answering as the Labour Party turned up the heat on allegations of tax evasion by Zahawi and his alleged penalty settlement with His Majesty's Revenue and Customs Department. All independent ethics advisor will be studying the case.
Integrity and accountability is really important to me, and clearly in this case there are questions that need answering, and that's why I've asked our independent advisor to get to the bottom of everything, to investigate the matter fully and establish all the facts and provide advice to me on Nadhim Zahawi's compliance with the ministerial code. I'm pleased that Nadhim Zahawi has agreed with that approach and has agreed to fully cooperate with that investigation.
Opposition parties have raised questions on Zahawi's tax payments. The alleged tax evasion relates to Zahawi's controversial multi-million-pound shareholding in the polling company YouGov. Zahawi has come under fire over claims that he tried to avoid tax payments. Just on Saturday, Zahawi came out with a carefully worded statement saying an error in his tax affairs is accepted by His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, also known as the HMRC, as careless and not deliberate. Zahawi paid the tax which he owed, as well as a 30% penalty, with a total settlement amounting to about $5.2 million. Labour leaders are calling the issue corrosive to public trust, as the Chancellor, who is entrusted to ask the public to pay their taxes, has failed to do so himself. Zahawi's ally said that earlier he will not quit his position. While taking over the Downing Street office last year, Rishi Sunak had taken responsibility to restore integrity and professionalism after the scandals under Boris Johnson and the economic chaos of Liz Truss. But scandals like this continue to cast a cloud over a big gap between what Sunak promised and what's playing out. And for more on this, we were earlier joined by Dr. Nigel Fletcher. He's a political analyst and politician historian at King's College from London. Listen in to his insights.
Well, I think this is starting to look like a familiar pattern, isn't it? I think, if you look in political history, it's striking to think that, this is a government that, as you say, was begun with the promise of having greater integrity, and that's quite a high bar for a government to set itself. And I think this is a familiar pattern we're starting to see now, that you have, as you say, calls for a minister to resign, you have the referral to an independent inquiry, you have the Prime Minister sort of gravely saying that they want to get all of the facts. We've seen this pattern many times before, and I think it does seem to be leading towards the inevitable resignation. But the wider problem is that, of course, this is not the first of these issues we've had under Rishi Sunak's government, and you have to almost feel a bit sorry for him that these things are not attacks on him personally. These are things that are occurring in relation to some of his ministers, and of course the scandal which we might talk about in a moment about Boris Johnson as well. These are things which predate his administration. But I think once he's set that bar, once he's said that you're going to be a government that has integrity and accountability, it is something that he then has to meet, and that's the problem that he's got here. So whilst the drumbeat from the media starts to sort of move towards that inevitable call for resignations here, he's now referred it for an investigation. I think he'll be hoping that the facts are gathered quite quickly to enable him to move on from this.
And troubles continue to grow for Conservative Party chairperson Nadhim Zahawi, who is accused of tax avoidance, as also the guest just now has mentioned. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has asked for an independent probe as we speak, and this is amounting a lot of pressure from the opposition on the current government. And for more on this, we are being joined by our correspondent Alex Isat from London. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, as we were telling our viewers as well, scandal like this is unmasking a big gap between what Sunak promises and what's actually playing out in London. What are you hearing from 10 Downing, Alex?
Well, absolutely. Now, the issue of what he said about integrity was after Nadhim Zahawi said last year that there was no issues with HMRC, that it had been dealt with, that there wasn't any problems. So now that Rishi Sunak has come face to face with this statement, we understand that he only found out this weekend. So he's now coming to terms with what exactly does that mean. But it looks like when he made that statement back last year that he wasn't expecting even more problems within his own government. And Caroline Noakes, their Conservative MP, did say yesterday that she believes that Zahawi's career is hanging by a thread and that he really should resign. And we do understand that a lot of the others within his own party are feeling the same way as well. Obviously, he was Chancellor of the Exchequer when this all came about last year, and that was under Boris Johnson's government. But now it's Rishi Sunak's time to show that he is a strong Prime Minister and to do something about it. Putting the ethics team and making an inquiry doesn't seem to be that he's making a stand. He's had a lot of problems within his own government since he came into power. We had the bullying claims, we've had Suella Braverman and the privacy issues, and this is just another problem for him. So it is time that he does make a stand, and a lot of his own party members are suggesting that maybe he is not really the right person to do the job if he doesn't try and cut off the dead weight right now.
All right, thank you for all those insights. That was our correspondent Alex Isat reporting live from London.